What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. My name is Adam. I am your host, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about if NFTs like Top Shot and Sorare will be taking over sports cards. As many of you may have heard, if you're in the sports card community or you're in the digital currency, Bitcoin, Ethereum type space, there is a platform slash something that has kind of risen up in the past few weeks. Now, I going back, I'm hearing that people have been talking about this for months now. I've seen people talking about Top Shot, but I'm talking about NFTs in general, so the non-fungible tokens. This is something that I think is going to revolutionize the art world, the digital ownership world. It's going to revolutionize, like, we're starting to see people make a lot of money on NFTs, and this is sort of one of the points I'm going to get into about if the money is actually going to be there in the end. And if you've listened to Gary Vee, he says that 99% of NFTs are going to fail and they're going to go to $0. And I think maybe that's one of the main differences between NFTs and sports cards, is that I don't think there's ever going to be a time where 99% of sports cards go to zero. I think there could be potentially opportunities where some of these NFTs do go to $0. Like, we've seen like a crazy like Beeple. I'm not sure if you're watching this, you probably are in either OpenSea or you're in kind of the NFT world. And you saw that there was a Beeple who is a digital artist. He made one, and it sold for $6 million, I believe, which is, that's insane. Like, it's insane. It's insane the same way that I think people look at sports cards and say that, like, some of these high value sports cards selling is insane. I think, as somebody who maybe I have a design background, so I think the digital art space makes a lot of sense to me. So I think that it's going to revolutionize that world for sure, because people will be able to, you're not going to have to like buy a physical item from an artist. Like, if you like an artist and you want to support them and they have NFTs, you're going to be able to buy something digital of theirs, and then you're the owner of it. And I think that's one of the things that's kind of the most confusing to people who maybe aren't into NFTs. Like, they don't understand, and this is the example that I've heard a billion times. If you've been in any Clubhouse room, or if you watch any YouTube video on NFTs, they pretty much use the example of like the Mona Lisa. Like, you can own, like, the Louvre owns the Mona Lisa. Like, you can take a picture of the Mona Lisa, or you can print the Mona Lisa out and put it on your wall, but that doesn't make you the owner. So with this, it's sort of the same. Like, with this Beeple, it's a one of one. So sure, you can download the image or whatever, but that doesn't make you the owner of the image. And like I said, I think there's a revolution that's going to happen sort of in the art world. And I think, I don't even think we've really seen the potential that NFTs really have, because I think it makes it so that way, like, I think one really cool thing that would be interesting with like an NFT would be like if you go to a game and you get like with your ticket or something, like, because tickets have sort of all become digital, so it's like it almost seems like it's moving that way. So like, maybe instead of like StubHub or the Red Sox or one of these companies giving you a ticket, they give you an NFT that has the code, and that's what you sign in with. But then you have that NFT that says that you were at that game. And I guess maybe that defeats the purpose, because you can't really sell, or you could, like, hype that. See, this is the thing with the NFTs. There's so many different things that I think there's so much potential with that, like, sure, you could sell it, but like the whole point would be that you were at the game. And I don't know. I just think that there's so many different potential opportunities for NFTs to really kind of change the landscape of a lot of different industries. And I think one of the reasons why like these sports NFTs are taking off and becoming so popular is because of games like Madden and FIFA. Like, we have a generation of kids, and I mean adults, like I played Madden and FIFA, that grew up playing this game where you're buying and selling card digital things in the games to get coins. And I think the one massive difference is that, like, each year the time and energy that you spent on building your team or getting 20 million coins or whatever it ends up being, it gets reset. So I think what NFTs are going to do is it's going to change that industry in the way that there's going to be some way to transfer your coins or your stubs. If you're playing MLB The Show, you're going to be able to transfer that stuff. I just think that that's a realistic possibility. I don't know how exactly it's going to be done. I don't know if that then makes it harder for people to, make money or not make money, but make the coins, or maybe it's harder to get the cards. But because that's one way that, like, if you look at it, Madden and FIFA, they're all doing exactly what Top Shot is doing. Like, they are sell, like, or not always, but they sell packs, and with Madden and FIFA and MLB The Show, the packs are unlimited, so there's no limit to, and maybe that's kind of the main difference. If they were to limit the amount of cards, I think that would, like, I don't know. I just think that there has to be some sort of way that Madden and FIFA can do this, like, because Madden and FIFA do limited packs during, like, I think, like, Black Friday and during, like, holidays and stuff. So there is, like, a limited way that they do it, but it's not exactly the same, because, like, their packs are all random, and the cards themselves aren't serial numbered. So I think that's one of the big differences here. And I think the way that NFTs are going to revolutionize sports cards themselves, because I think one thing that maybe if you're watching this video, you probably clicked on it because you thought that I was going to say one is going to be better than the other. I don't think NFTs are going to take over sports cards. I think that there could be potential where maybe people put more money into NFTs because of the quick nature and the digital nature of the NFTs versus actual sports cards. But I think some company, and I feel like it should be like a PSA or a BGS, they should be creating some sort of digital ledger for their graded cards. And I think it's going to be obviously tough for a company like a PSA because of how many cards they grade, or BGS because of how many cards they grade. But I think there is something to this serial the serial number nature of cards. Like, think about if you could say that you own the first Luka Doncic PSA 10 Prism rookie card. Like, I think that's obviously going to have, and I don't know if that totally changes the landscape of graded cards in general. And I don't even know if that would be necessarily a good or a bad thing. But, like, obviously the serial, because they all PSA and BGS, they all have certification numbers. But, like, if you could then say this certification number equals the first PSA 10 Prism Luka card, like, that card obviously is going to have much more value than, like, the 15,000th Prism Luka card that was graded. Now does that scale kind of change things? I mean, it almost makes it so, I don't know if it makes it so people want to grade cards less, or if they want to, maybe they see an undervalued nature in buying some of the higher serial numbered cards. I don't know. And see, this is kind of the whole, I'm sort of brainstorming as I'm making this video in a way, because I think it's definitely an interesting opportunity for, and I don't necessarily think it's going to be the digital, like, I think Panini kind of tried to already do this with the Panini blockchain, which, like, because I think that they really could have been on the forefront of this kind of new digital space, but they sort of botched the release, and not botched it because they made a ton of money on the release, but I think they botched it in the way that they could have been, like, these digital tokens, they could have been the first sports, and there are sports cards that are digital and they're one of ones, but, like, the fact that they released Prism and they released National Treasures blockchains cards, and then other sets they came out with just digital cards, I feel like if they had gone just digital, like, they could have created this digital marketplace. And also the fact that they made it a physical thing, but they still had the ledger, because, like I said, Panini made this kind of concept within sports cards, and I think there are digital cards that Topps have, but I think it's going to be very interesting to see which sports card company takes on the NFT concept and really kind of brings it along, and really steps it up, because I don't know exactly what that process is going to be like, but, like, if this year, if Panini comes out and said their blockchain cards are all on the blockchain, they're not going to be in physical cards, I think that would be a much better solution than what they did now. So now we're going to get into kind of Top Shot itself, and I didn't really want to, I've waited on making this video because I wanted to make sure I was getting more information and getting as much information before I kind of formulated an opinion, because at first I just didn't understand it. I'm sure many of you are watching this video who still don't understand why someone would be buying a highlight versus, like, an actual sports card, or why they would be buying a digital card versus an actual sports card. And it really is just it's just Bitcoin essentially for sports. That's kind of how I've determined and how I've understood it. And maybe that's going to make sense to people. Maybe that's not going to make sense because maybe there's people that don't really understand Bitcoin still. And I think the main difference, and I've heard Bitcoin explained like this, is that it's actual ownership. Like you own. Like if you have one Bitcoin, you own that Bitcoin. It's not like stocks where if you buy into Nike or you buy into Starbucks or Apple, like you only own a asset that's a piece of the company. Where Bitcoin, it's like if you put the whatever the $48,000 for one Bitcoin, you then can take that Bitcoin off of Coinbase or wherever you buy it from, and that I don't understand this aspect of it. I don't understand the nature of taking a Bitcoin off of the blockchain. I don't fully understand that, but I know that you can do that and keep it on like an actual physical hard drive. So the one thing that I think is going to be interesting is like when Top Shot gets out of beta, like what's going to happen with the money that's on the platform? Because that's the one thing that I don't like as much, and I can understand why people may even say this about sports cards, because I think I look at Top Shot the same way that people looked at sports cards maybe in 2016, 2017, maybe into 2018. Like they don't understand why someone would want to buy this thing that's at worth X amount, and they don't understand why the price of it goes up. I sort of don't understand exactly why the price of some of the Top Shots are going up, because it's like random players like assists or like shots in a game, and I guess I understand that there's serial numbers and all this type of stuff, and I understand that it's it's a digital currency, but I just don't understand why, like what is driving the market up is the thing I kind of don't understand. And I, like I said, I get that it's the digital form of like a sports card, so that's kind of one of the reasons. But like with the app still in beta, I think one of the things that I've heard in a couple different sources, that you can't really like take any money out. Like Dapper, I think, is the main company that runs the financials with Top Shot, or I think they're the company that runs Top Shot, and you can only take out like only certain, and also it's only certain people, like which that's the point I don't understand. Like I don't get how you can't take money out, really. Like, you have to get approval, and you have to be 18, and you can only take out, like, $1,000 at a time, I think is what I saw. Or $1,000 at a time every couple days. So it's like, there are people that have, like, millions of dollars on this platform that they literally wouldn't be able to take out for... Which, it's like I said, it's still in beta. But, like, you look at, like, how many people are in line for these packs. There's, like, hundreds of thousands... Like, I've seen numbers in the 120,000 people waiting. So it's like, how can you have that many people on your platform, but you only are allowed to take out $1,000? There's only a certain amount of people that are even allowed to take out $1,000. So that's kind of one of the main points that I get a little bit nervous about. Like, where does the money go once it opens up? Like, once everybody can take out their money, where does that money go? Because, like I said, there's people who are doubling and tripling their portfolios in a day. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, just because, like, where is that money coming from, I guess? And the thing that I do like is that they have that digital ledger, that it shows who owned it and who sold it in previous sales, so that all kind of makes sense. But, like, I just wonder at what point, like, when, and this is going to sound like what Vegas Dave was talking about when he was talking about just the sports card market in general, like, what happens when everybody wants to take their money off the platform? Which, it's different with sport. I think the main difference with sports cards is that with sports cards you can sell at any time. You don't have, but right now for Top Shot you can't sell and get your money. But at this point you can't really get your money from Top Shot. So that's kind of something that's interesting. I'm also interested in the athletes' commissions. Like, I've seen a lot of athletes get into this, and maybe there must be some sort of thing that they worked out with the NBA Players Association that says, like, if X thing sells, you get X amount of commission. I'm guessing that must be the case. I don't exactly know the structure or how that works, but that's something that I don't know. I'm surprised that, like, sports, like, and this is maybe the digital ledger part. Like, the sports cards haven't really been able to do this, because you can't necessarily give someone a commission of a card that you don't have any control of the sale of, I guess, if that makes sense. So that's probably why. So, I mean, I think that Top Shot and Sorare, and also Sorare, I'm just going to quickly go into it. It's basically digital sports cards, but you can use them you can use them in fantasy, like fantasy soccer, which I think is a great idea. And I love that kind of concept adding to it. But overall, I think the platforms I think are going to be very interesting as sort of the first few sports platforms that are getting into this NFT space. And like I said, I don't think it's going to replace sports cards. I think some people may move from sports cards to this digital currency because maybe they got into Bitcoin early and they're looking at the same as Bitcoin. I don't know for sure, but I think that it's going to be like, I'll be interested to see what happens in the future with these platforms and where they decide to kind of take their routes. Like, I don't know what the future really holds. I think there's still so much that needs to be determined with these platforms that I can't even really make a full prediction on what I think is going to happen to the platforms. I think that in the next few months we're going to find out. So, that's pretty much what I'm going to have to. That's all I've got to say about NFTs and all that stuff versus sports cards. So, I want to thank you all for watching this video. Make sure that if you haven't hit the like and subscribe button that you do that. I really would appreciate that. That helps out the channel a ton. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.